Hello everyone, where you are. I'm Saurav Agarwal, corporate trainer and technology specialist. So the agenda of this training is to learn .NET and then is to learn the MVC. The agenda, I will just show you first of all my experience, how much experience I have. I have 17 years of experience at the IT industry. I'm basically giving the trainings on Angular 2 to 4.11 version. I'm basically expert in C Sharp and OOPS concept, expert in MVC. So even I'm giving the trainings on microservices, to giving the trainings on design patterns, .NET Core. So this is like my profile, which is I'm working on from last 17 years in the industry. I'm working as a project architect in one of the multinational organization. And the agenda of this training, this will start with the C sharp. You can see, you can see my screen. We'll start with the .NET framework. What exactly the .NET framework is? Before going any technology, guys, before going any technology, you should understand why I want to learn. So the agenda will start with the .NET framework, then we come to the basic C sharp, then we have come to the memory management, where we will covering the architecture of memory management, what is heap memory, stack, code memory, cache memory, and the global memory. After that, we basically talk about some of the features of the C sharp. Then we'll also talk about the variables. We also talk about that what exactly the data type. If we talk about the data types, then we have value type and the reference type. What exactly the value type and reference type we will do in the upcoming sessions. So, so participants, like if we talk about agenda, we'll see more on basic C sharp. That is on C sharp operators. We will able to understand our arithmetic operators, assignment operators, unary operator, comparison operator, logical operator, and the C sharp keywords. And every topic, we will have the practical demonstrations so that you will be able to understand. So if we talk about the conditional statements, we will go with the if else, switch, break, continue, and go to statements. And coming to the next part, where we can also drive some concepts of the C sharp, where we having the where dynamic. We also go with the internal working of where and dynamic, and where in which scenario we can use where, and in which scenario we can go for the dynamic. We can also learn about the enumerations. So basically, if I talk about how many user defined data types in C sharp, we have three types of user defined data types in C sharp, that is struct, enum, and the class. And then we'll talk about the arrays. Now we talk about how we can create the array, how we can do the single dimension array and the multi-dimensional array. Then the main objective of this of the .NET, where we can go with the intermediate part one, where we will learning object oriented programming. What exactly the class? What exactly the object is? How we can how we can define in a real world scenario what exactly the class and object, right? So we can go with the internal architecture of class object. We also go with the internal architecture of the struct. We define the types of variables. We have five types of variable, that is called instance variable, instance read only variable, static read only variable, and the constant variable. We also start with the constructors. Then we can go with the internal working of the constructors. We have the types of constructors: default constructor, parameterized constructor, constructor, private static constructor, and we can go with the demonstration of each and every constructor. Then we the main pillars of OOPS, that is called abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism, which we'll be covering in this hour training. Then what exactly the encapsulation is, how we can achieve the encapsulation. We can also try to cover that one. Then we can go with the abstraction. Abstraction, that is basically used for achieve by abstract class and interface. And if we go with the architecture of the, we can also go with the architecture of the inheritance, what exactly the inheritance is, type of inheritance. Then we can go with the polymorphism. So then we can come with some advanced topic like delegates, generic delegates. So what exactly the generic delegates? We have three types of generic delegate, that is called func delegate, action delegate, and the predicate delegate. And if we talk about the generics, where this is one of the core topic of the .NET, where you able to learn each and everything about the generics. Then we can go with the more concepts, that is an extension method, lazy loading, lambda expression, optional parameter, name parameter, and then what exactly the tuples is, and we can go with the class relationships and all. So guys, yeah, this is basically the agenda of the C sharp, where we can go, where we can able to learn each and everything in detail, right? So first of all, I'm just starting with the what exactly the .NET framework is. What exactly the .NET framework is. If you talk about .NET framework is basically it's a framework. You can say .NET framework is a framework, or you can say it's a container. .NET framework is a framework, right? It's a framework, or or participants you can say it's a container, right? Which is used to develop the software application, which is used to develop, which is used to develop the software applications, which is used to develop the software applications. So basically, from the .NET, what I told you, .NET is a framework. It's a container which is used to develop the software applications. Why we want to use .NET? Why we want to use the .NET framework? It's in server-side programming. .NET is in server-side programming. It is basically designed and developed by the Microsoft. It is basically it is basically designed. It is basically designed and developed by the Microsoft. Microsoft. It is basically designed and developed by the Microsoft, and it is released, and it was released in the early 2000. It was released in the early 2000. So what I've told you, that .NET framework, .NET is a framework, or is a container which is used to develop the software application. It is basically designed and developed by the Microsoft, and it was released in the early 2000. So from the .NET, we can develop the applications from the .NET. If we talk about from the .NET, we can we can basically we can develop the applications. We can develop the application for console based application. We can develop console based application. We can develop the Windows based application. Windows based application. We can develop the web based application, and we can develop the mobile based application. So guys, if we basically talk about from the .NET, we can develop the following application, that is called console-based application, Windows-based application, web-based application, and the mobile-based application. If we talk about console-based application, if we talk about console-based application entirely based on the C sharp. Before going to the detail on the developing the application, I need to tell you one more point. .NET is basically comprised. If we talk about .NET, is basically comprised of more than 64 languages. .NET is basically comprises of comprises of more than 64 languages, right? And and the base language, and if you talk about and the base language of the .NET, that is the base language of the .NET, that is called C sharp. That is called C sharp. All right. If you learn C sharp in detail, and if you understand the concept of C sharp, you can adapt any language. You can adapt any language. That is the reason. The base, if the foundation is clear, you can go with any type of programming, any codation. So I told you from the .NET, we can develop the following application. We can develop console-based application, Windows-based application, web-based application, and the mobile-based application. If we talk about guys, if we talk about the console-based application means it is basically based on the C sharp. And if you want to make the utility tool, if you want to make the utility tool, then you can make the console-based application. For example, I can give you one example. Let's say your customer says your file is basically put on some putting on some other location. You read the file, put the data into a data set, then you extract the logic, and then you can insert the data. Another logic, another logic you can basically go is that another example you can go is that it is making to make a scheduler task. It is making to make a scheduler, right? So scheduler is again an important for the console based application. If we talk about Windows based application, Windows based application means it's an standalone application. It's an a standalone a standalone application, right? Or you can say, you can say desktop based application, or you can say it's a desktop based application, a standalone application, or you can say it's a desktop based application, or it runs on a single machine. That's an exe based application, right? Earlier is using the WinForms. Earlier Microsoft is using the WinForms. Now WinForms has been depreciated from the Microsoft. Now the industry is using the WPF, that is Windows Presentation Foundation. So if you basically talk about web-based application, if you basically talk about web-based application, web-based application which basically runs on the browser. Web-based application basically runs on the browser. Web-based application basically runs on the browser. So basically, if we talk about web-based application, which is basically runs on the browser. Now earlier Microsoft is using the ASP.NET. Was using the ASP.NET. Nowadays it is using the MVC. Nowadays it is using the MVC. So we will discuss in detail what exactly the web-based application and what exactly the console-based and the Windows-based and what exactly the mobile-based application is. If we talk about mobile-based application, that is basically work on Angular, all right? So till now, we are able to understand what exactly the .NET framework is. .NET is basically as a framework or is a container which is used to develop the software application. It is basically designed and developed by the Microsoft, and it is released in the early 2000. So it basically comprises of more than 64 languages and the base language of .NET, that is called C Sharp. If we talk about all of you, the benefits, if you basically talk about the benefits of the .NET, if we talk about the benefits of the .NET, so I can say first benefit is that .NET is in server-side programming. .NET is in server-side programming. If you talk about from the .NET, we can achieve object-oriented programming. We can achieve object-oriented programming, right? The main advantage of the .NET, that is called language interoperability. That is called language interoperability. Interoperability. The main benefit of the .NET, that is called language interoperability, right? So basically, I can say .NET is you can say rich in class library. We'll talk about in detail. Rich in class libraries, right? So .NET is basically simple. .NET is basically simple, fast, and flexible. So, uh, so everyone, if you talk about .NET compared to the Java, so it is easy to learn and it is easy to adapt a .NET. .NET as in user friendly and you can able to understand easily, right? So now, if I talk about now, I'm basically more basically concentrate on the web-based application, which I told you it runs on the browser, and earlier it is using the Earlier it is using the ASP.NET. Nowadays we are using the MVC. So everyone participants, if you basically talk about MVC, if you talk about MVC, what exactly the MVC is? MVC is a model view model. You can say it's a view controller. What is model view controller? What is, guys, model view controller? Model view controller, it's an architectural design. MVC is an architectural design which enforces a separation of concern, which enforces a separation of concern, which enforces a separation of concern that model view and controller are decoupled from each other. So I can write it MVC. MVC is an architectural design which enforces MVC is an architectural design which enforces a separation of which enforces a separation of concern which enforces a separation of concern where model view and controller are decoupled from each other, right? So that means if, let's say, you are the project manager and under your team there are three developers are working. One can work on model, another can work on view, another can work on controller. So um, so basically, if you talk about MVC is an architectural design which basically forces of separation of concern where model, view, and controller are decoupled from each other. And that means you can do the parallel development. You can do the parallel development. So I have given the example. I have basically given the example. All right. Let's say you are the project manager, and under your team there are three employees are working, three teammates are working. One can work on controller, another can work on view, another can work on model. So that means there's no dependency. There's no dependency on each other, and you can do the parallel development. The main benefit of using the MVC, that is called, which I talk about, that is called separation. That is called separation of concern. That is called separation of concern. If you talk about MVC, if you talk about MVC, MVC is a lightweight. If you talk about MVC, MVC is a lightweight engine. MVC is a lightweight engine. Why it is a lightweight? Why it is a lightweight? MVC, if you basically talk about MVC, MVC is a lightweight engine. MVC is a lightweight engine because it uses the HTML control. Because it uses the HTML control, right? It uses the HTML control. So basically, the MVC is a lightweight because it uses the HTML control, and also and also and also it uses the Razor engine. It uses the Razor engine. If we use the Razor engine is a lightweight engine because it uses the HTML controls. Guys, if you more talk about the MVC, yeah, unit testing becomes very easy in case of MVC. Unit testing, unit testing becomes very easy in case of testing. If we talk about Mentability, Mentability is again one of the feature of the MVC. And if we talk about, that is called MVC totally depends on dependency injection. MVC totally depends on dependency injection. So participants, you should know what exactly that dependency injection is, why we want to use dependency injection. And this is one of the core topic entire, whether you can learn .NET, whether you can learn Angular, whether you can learn uh, MVC. right? So this is a core topic. What exactly the dependency injection is? Dependency injection says high level module should not depend on low level module. It should depend upon abstraction, right? If we talk about dependency injection, if we talk about dependency injection, all of you, dependency injection means high level modules, high level modules should not should not depend on should not depend upon low level modules. It should depend upon abstraction. It should it should depend upon abstraction. So guys, an abstraction should not depend upon details. An abstraction, if we talk about abstraction, should not depend upon details, right? So basically, if we talk about dependency injection, I can say high level modules should not depend on low level modules. It should depend upon abstraction, and abstraction should not depend upon details. That is main agenda. So I can say, let's say you have basically class A and class B. Let me write public class. This is the structure which I will tell you later on what exactly the class, what exactly the object is. So I'm just writing this prototype, the class B, right? So basically, class A should not depend on upon class B, and class B should not depend upon class A. In a similar way, you are not dependent on me, I am not dependent on you. So we can achieve dependency injection. We can achieve dependency injection by using the achieving 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 the dependency injection. We can achieve the dependency injection by using constructor, by using constructor, by using property, and by using methods, right? So basically, this is a thing which you should know, which you should know about it regarding the dependency injection, and we'll look into the detail when we basically covering the MVC, right? So basically, till now we are able to understand what exactly the .NET is, why we want to use the .NET, right? So this is the fundamental of the .NET. Now I'm basically telling you the architecture. Now basically telling you the architecture of the architecture of the .NET. If we talk about the architecture of the .NET, let's say let's say you have the source code. What is the source code? So source code which we are writing in our Visual Studio. Or before going to the architecture of the .NET, I will tell you installation of the software. Installation. I will tell you the installation of the software for doing this training. Installation of the software, you can install either Visual Studio 2017, or you can install Visual Studio 2019. And you can install the Microsoft SQL Server, Microsoft Microsoft SQL Server. So basically, this is the prerequisite. If you basically going to the learning the .NET, we will go with the Visual Studio 2017 and we'll go with the Visual Studio 2019. So if you basically going with the architecture, if you're going with the architecture of the .NET, I can say, let's say this is your source code. This is your source code. Source code would be written in program.cs. Source code has been written in program.cs, right? So source code get compiled. Source code get compiled by using CSC compiler, right? Source code get compiled by using CSC compiler, and once source code get compiled, it creates an assembly. The participants, it creates an assembly. So what is assembly? Assembly is in compiled file. What is assembly? Assembly is in compiled file in the form of exe, and the DLL. Assembly, if we talk about assembly, assembly is a compiled file, in the form of exe and DLL. All right. So basically, you should know, participants. I have working from last 17 years, and when I taking the interviews, participants, candidate doesn't know when it creates an exe and when it creates an DLL. If there's a main function, available in C# source code, the compiler makes a exe. If there is a main function, available in C#, if there's a main function available in C# source code, if there's a main function available in C#, if there's a main function available in C# source code, compiler makes a exe. And if there's a, you can say, if there's a main function, if there's a no main function, if there is no main function, if there's no main function, available in C# source code, the makes a compiler makes a DLL, right? If there's no main function available in C# source code, compiler makes a DLL. Then I told you, this is source code. Source code gets having the program.cs that gets compiled by using the CSC compiler. It creates an assembly. What is assembly? Assembly is a compiled file in the form of exe and DLL. Then we have, that is called CLR. What is CLR? CLR is the common language runtime. What is CLR? CLR is the common language runtime. If you talk about CLR, CLR is the language runtime. It is the heart of the .NET framework. In a similar way, my heart is pumping. I'm alive. If you don't have the CLR, in the .NET framework, it will not work. So CLR is the heart of the .NET framework. So with the help of JIT compiler, guys, it converts your, it basically converts your IL code. It basically converts your IL code to the native code. So what is basically, if we talk about what is basically IL code basically creates an assembly. IL code creates here, right? If you talk about, if we basically talk about IL code creates here, right? So basically, you have the source code. Source code gets compiled by using the CSC compiler. It creates an assembly. And what is assembly? Assembly is a compiled file in the form of exe and DLL. So basically, then common language runtime. That's the heart of the .NET framework. With the help of JIT compiler, it converts IL code to the native code so that operating system is able to understand. And user can see the output. So basically, in the next session, I will basically show you the figures, and I will basically show you the real implementation on the Visual Studio Code, how we can open the Visual Studio Code. So let me show you. Like, this is a Visual Studio 2017. If you want to open, then you have to click on New Project. Then you can go with the .NET framework. Here you can write demo application, demo console, what you want. demo console, right? And just I'm adding it here. So it will create your application, and then you will able to understand the things. Now here you can see you have the class program, and I'm just printing the message CW. So CW is basically used for console.writeLine to print the message, right? So here I can say hello IT world. Simple message I'm printing, right? Hello IT world. So it will print the message when I compile, and the console.readline is used to stay the output on the screen, right? So if now you can see this is a unused namespace. Right now I don't need it. I delete that namespaces and I use this. So this is the main program. If this is a main program, so if you compile, guys, it right now you can see. Let me show you. If you go to the open folders in File Explorer, Demo Console, Bin, Debug. Here you are not able to see anything, right? As soon as when I build the solution, as soon as I build the solution, it will create an exe. See this, see this. It will create an exe. Demo Console, Bin, Debug. This one. If you click it here, you will be getting Hello IT World, right? So now because this is a main, if you have the main, it creates an exe. And if you run it from here, you press F5 or you can click on start. So you will get Hello IT World, right? So I will show you the class library into a next session. And thank you so much. If you have any question, then you can ask me, you can comment me, and I can look forward for this. Thank you so much. Thank you.